DRL, we break the chains. No brakes, no fear, no slowing down. The checkered flag is calling, we're the crown. Degenerate race league, where the tough survive. Living for the moment we're born to drive. With steel and speed, we own the track. No looking forward, 'cause we won't look back. From the streets to the asphalt, we own it all. Rising like thunder, hear the call. Push it to the limit, take the lead. In the DRL, we race with greed. From the streets to the asphalt, we own it all. Rising like thunder, hear the call. Push it to the limit, take the lead. In the DRL, we race with greed. Degenerate race league, where the tough survive. Living for the moment we're born to drive. With steel and speed, we own the track. No looking forward, 'cause we won't look back. Confounding, crowd shouting, victories within reach, no doubting. We're champions, born in the fight. In the DRL, we own the night. Degenerate race league, this is our creed. Fast and furious, it's all we need. It's all we need. It's all we won't look like. We own the track. We own the night. We don't look back.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very rainy Austin, Texas. Tonight, the Degenerate Race League takes on round 2 of season 6. Tonight, our drivers arrive at Circuit of the Americas in the United States. A track which has finished its building in 2012, known for its influence drawn from multiple iconic motorsports arenas throughout the world. As we finish up our qualifying session here, let's take a look at our timing tower. Ryan Barkins currently on provisional pole. Right behind him, Casey Grant and Stephen Latrail. All drivers at the moment likely using the wet tire compound. For anyone not familiar with iRacing, drivers will have the option to run either the dry or the wet tire. The dry being the tire they're likely most familiar with 99% of racing. But today, at COTA, the wet tire compound will certainly be required. Taking a look at our championship standings right before we get going, Tyler Finley, last week's race winner, followed by Evansborg, Andrew Jackson, Ryan Barkins, Blake Galvin in the top 5. Morgan Dino, Ross Tweedell, Spencer Braun, Stephen Latrell, and Mitch Nairati rounding out the top 10. Devin Hoot, Juan Cruz, Nathan Aldis, Isaiah Backus, and Samuel Bozak in the top 15, followed by Dave Seyfarth, Gavin Cook, Russell Stanford, Jeremy Spencer Dunn, and Mike Brown in the top 20 of our championship. Looking at our qualifying results, that is indeed Ryan Barkins on pole position, lining up right next to Casey Grant. Both McLarens on that front row. Followed by Stephen Latrell in the BMW, Jeremy Spencer Dunn in the Ford Mustang, Spencer Braun and Tyler Finley in that third row. Isaiah Backus qualifying P7 in that beautiful Sparky.org livery, lining up next to Andrew Jackson. Mitch Kelsey in the 888 and Ross Tweedell in the 54, rounding out our top 10. And we have Mike Brown and Jim Kelly in that next row, Mitch Nairati and Sam Zawissa in P13 and 14. Matthew Liberto and Juan Cruz in 15th and 16th, followed by Daniel Roth and Tart Embry in 17th and 18th. I believe that rounds out our grid this evening. Safety car is off, and we will begin our formation lap. The track still very wet at the moment, though it does not appear to be raining currently. Up there I see it just a little bit, maybe not as bad as qualifying, but still going to be a very tricky race for these drivers. It is really anybody's race tonight. Anything can happen. Though what one may see is driving a clean and safe line, another may see as an opportunity for an aggressive move. All drivers thankfully keeping it clean on the formation lap so far. I know that was a concern in these conditions. Really anything can happen. Ryan Barkins up front, moving his car around, just trying to get any little bit of heat he can get into those wet tires. Any little bit helps tonight. Round turn 19 into turn 20. I believe that is the safety car peeling away. And we'll have a green flag momentarily here at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas.
Green flag, green flag.
That is a green flag. Ryan Barkins already getting a good lead on Casey Grant. Lots of water spray coming through. Very tricky to see. Can we keep it clean into the tricky turn 1? It looks like the front half of the pack has made it through so far. It sounds like the back half of the pack has made it through too. that. That's Tyler Finley spun around. Maybe by Spencer Braun, not 100% sure. Hopefully just a little bit of late contact. Hopefully he can get back going on the track. See, he tumbles down the timing board, but he is there running side by side to Juan Cruz. Ryan Barkin's peeling away by almost 3 seconds now. Getting a good start to this race. And that's Mitch Nairati spun around, getting past. Tyler Finley side by side with Juan Cruz in that Nerds Porsche car. As the 2 Mustangs in front of them battle it out. Tyler, last week's race winner, definitely looking to make up some positions here tonight. Get back in a podium position. It looks like that's Mitch Kelsey and the Ferrari running just a bit wide there. Nothing too crazy. And they rub paints, Mitch and Tyler. Nothing coming of that at the moment. Tyler grabbing that inside line, getting through. The rest of the pack still keeping it clean so far, driving very safe in these tricky conditions. And just as I say that, that's Mitch Kelsey, the commentator's curse, or so I hear. Nothing too crazy, no damage into a wall or anything, but surely going to lose some positions. Isaiah back is running, getting a good look down that main straight, and it looks like that's Juan Cruz losing a front bumper. Not sure where that came from. You take a look at our positions gained this evening. Daniel Roth leading that group with the most by far at 8 positions gained, just gained by driving clean through the rest of the pack. Both Ross Crudell and Jim Kelly having 4 positions gained themselves. Ross Trudell potentially under pressure here from Isaiah Backus. Jim Kelly under pressure from Daniel Roth. Going single file here as we pile in. The pack not spread out necessarily, but all piling behind one another. Looks like that was Daniel Roth in what I believe is that Star Wars inspired livery, trying to make a move potentially on Jim Kelly here. Daniel all over the back end of that Mercedes, going to the inside. Not sure if that was intentional, if that was sliding out a little bit. Ryan Barkin setting in our fastest lap, almost 8 seconds ahead of Casey Grant in second. Ryan just out for a little Monday night drive at this point, but there's still plenty of race to go, almost 40 minutes. Daniel going down the middle of that front straight, not close enough to make a move on Jim Kelly. As we settle in, let's try and get some replays here. This is the replay from lap 1 from Tyler Finley. It looks like that's going to be contact from that Porsche there. Might have been the Porsche of Spencer Braun, not 100% sure. Stewards might need to have a look at that. Going here, Matthew Liberta just spinning around a little bit. Lucky he didn't get contact from that other Ferrari. Jeremy Spencer Dunn starting in P4, I believe. Sliding out as well into the barrier. Mike Brown having a little contact with that Ferrari, and that's a pileup. That's Juan Cruz in that Nerds car. That's where that front bumper damage came from. To go back to live here, Jeremy Spencer Dunn falling back to P10. Not sure if that's damage on that front end. It has to be. Maybe some wheel damage as well. Looking to fight his way back up to P4 or higher where he started. As Ryan Barkins beats his own record of the fastest lap. Now 12 seconds ahead. Ryan Barkins gaining 4 seconds. That's a lot of contact I see right there. Jeremy Dunn getting through it, but I believe that's Daniel Roth in that Star Wars car, in that Mustang, spinning around a little bit. As I maybe see another incident from Mitch Kelsey as well. Getting towed to pit lane. Let's get a replay on that if possible. I think this is the one from before. Maybe trying to keep going, but eventually deciding to need that tow, and it's the front bumper gone for him as well. Tyler Finley all over the back of Jim Kelly, trying to make up any positions that he can after that lap 1 contact. Ryan Barkins still the leader of this race, gaining more and more time every second here. And that's Tyler Finley getting that move done past Jim Kelly. Does Jim have anything in response to that? As we go through the S's in the back half of this circuit. Or is Tyler just going to pull away and attempt to chase down Jeremy Spencer Dunn? Back on board here with Daniel Roth. Down the timing board a little bit after that contact early on. Chasing down Sam Zawissa in the Ferrari. all over the back of that Ferrari. Trying to make not only a good move, but a clean move. And here comes Tyler. Going down the inside, potentially on turn 1. Be a little switchback on Jeremy. Nothing done yet, but into the S's. He's gonna look for a move, any move that he can make. Because I believe that's gonna be another incident on the board. This time Ross Trudell tumbling down. Andrew Jackson under pressure from Isaiah Backus, 2 drivers who have had a relatively clean race thus far. Not being involved in any incidents and any pileups yet. There's still much race to go. Isaiah sitting in that spray from Andrew. Very hard to see anything when you're in that position. Isaiah cutting the corner a little bit there, trying to get a move done on the inside. Tyler's doing the same to Jeremy. Lots of close battles on this track. Lots of 1v1s happening at the same time. Tyler trying to get that move done on Jeremy all lap. Is this the time he finally makes it stick? I think it is. As Tyler gets through clean, now to chase down Isaiah and Andrew. Unless Jeremy can make a move, a little comeback here. Let's go to that replay with Ross Trudell in the BMW just sliding, and that's a pretty big slide. Thankfully, the gravel catching him. But it looks like he might be stuck here. Not sure if that's going to be a tow or if he's able to get back on. Looks like he's able to get those rears on and back out into the track. Still much shorter than a trip to pit lane. Still losing lots of time there. Back to our live board now. Stephen Luttrell just a little over a second behind Casey Grant. Battle for second place here. Neither of these drivers likely fast enough to catch our leader, Ryan Barkins, this evening. Though in a wet race, anything can happen. Not only is Steven on the attack with Casey, he also has to defend that Spencer Braun in the Porsche. Maybe trying to make a move on the inside. Not quite yet. Tucks in right behind Steven in the 77 BMW. Steven losing a little bit of time, just a few tenths here and there to Casey Grant, as he has to focus his efforts on defending that podium position of P3 from Spencer Braun. That's Steven going into pit lane. It's just 15 minutes in. I believe being the first of our drivers to participate in the normal pit cycle this evening. Hoping to get an advantage, hopefully maybe getting a clean track coming his way. Effectively at the moment, Spencer Braun now sitting in P3, 2 seconds behind Casey Grant. Looking to chase him down now that he is in a little bit of clean air. After Spencer Braun, Andrew Jackson in P4. Not too far behind, Isaiah Backus in P5. The Tyler Finley, last week's race winner, chasing him down. Jeremy Spencer Dunn recovering 3 positions, I believe, from that tumble down to 10th earlier. After Jeremy, there is some space, about a 10-second gap. Jim Kelly follows. Camera on Juan Cruz at the moment. Looks like he got that front bumper repaired. That is a good sign. Brian Barkin's now 22 and counting seconds ahead of P2. Juan Cruz now chasing down that Ferrari of Sam Zawissa. Both very slow through that corner. These drivers now over 15 minutes through this race, settling into these track conditions. They know their lines, they know their braking points. Now it's all about putting it all together. This one maybe looks for the inside there, stays in the middle, not far enough to get anything done. And this is our battle for P2. Casey Grant holding that spot all race, but Spencer Braun looking to make a send down the inside here at turn 1. Looks like he maybe ran a bit wide. We will have to check on that. Isaiah Backus maybe looking to do the same with Andrew Jackson, but again, not close enough to him. As Isaiah Backus is under great pressure from Tyler Finley. We'll have to see how he chooses to play the defense here. Jeremy Spencer Dunn also in this fight for P5. Really P4 with Andrew Jackson right there. Tyler Finley going to the outside, just the natural selection of things on that corner. It looks like we might have some more incidents to replay on the session events page. Let's stay on board here with Tyler Finley. Let's go on board this cockpit view if possible. This is what our drivers see this evening. The rain pounding down. Wipers running back and forth. That sound of that car having no grip all race. As Ryan Barkins continues to dominate with another fastest lap, trying to get into the 229s. Tyler still chasing down Isaiah. Jeremy running wide in the background there. Tyler gets closer and closer to Isaiah. Maybe trading paint a little bit on that back bumper. As we round turn 1, can he get a move done here on Isaiah? Tyler going to the inside, speeding through. And that is a move done for him, nice and clean. Does Isaiah have anything in response? Should have a little better line, a little bit of exit on that corner. As now he makes his presence known to Tyler. Isaiah slipping out just a little bit. Not sure if that positioning was intentional or if that's because of the track conditions. Backus all over the track trying to make any move done against the championship leader. But back to some of our potential crashes and incidents. This is Mike Brown coming up. So it looks like he slides off the track. Thankfully does not make contact with that wall, I don't believe. So we go to Mitch Nairati. Making a similar mistake on turn 19. As we were watching those replays, that was Jeremy Dunn getting a move done on Isaiah Backus. And this is a fight for P2. This is Casey Grant versus Spencer Braun. That position on the timing board changing multiple times over a few seconds. But it looks like this is Spencer Braun coming ahead of Casey. Casey being in P2 all race until this point. Spencer driving very carefully, just dialing that car in bit by bit every lap. It's that move done, but it looks like that's Casey back in that position. This is Isaiah again now on the back of Jeremy Dunn. As we round the final corner of the track, down into the big, long uphill straight, into that tricky turn 1. Both drivers following the ideal line here, keeping it clean. And that's Tyler getting up into P3 past Andrew Jackson. Two of the drivers who were at the lead pack for an extended period of time last week at Monza. Now fighting it out here for P3 and P4 at Circuit of the Americas. More potential incidents to review as we take a break. It's again Matthew Liberto on that final turn, I believe, that turn 20. Just overcooking it a bit too much. As thankfully he's able to get out of the way for that BMW coming through. He continues to spin around, and this is Tart Embry also in that Ferrari. The Ferrari's having a tricky time at this track in these conditions. Matthew there losing that rear wing. Not sure how much that will affect his handling and his speed. Here's Casey Grant down in P8. Not sure if he fell down the timing board in any way or if he took a pit stop. I am unsure. He was just in P2 not too long ago. Andrew Jackson now under pressure from Jeremy Spencer Dunn. Down that main straight, can Jeremy get anything done here? Going down the middle, not close enough to him to really get his car in there. But still right on the back, putting lots of pressure on. These top 6 drivers really having a great race here, all keeping it clean. And just as I see that, commentator screws again, that's contact with Andrew Jackson, Jeremy Dunn. Stewards might need to have a look at that. Not sure if that was a racing incident or if there's anything more there. See if we can get a replay on that one right away. Looks like Jeremy may be getting a little too far, a little too close to Andrew while still being on the inside. Not too sure. But still maintaining that P6. Still in the fight for those positions. Sam Zawitsa down in P13. A little island of his own, it seems. As are many of the drivers down in the bottom half of the field at the moment. For fun, let's check in on our leader. Brian Barkins, 35 seconds ahead. The rest of the pack just out for a little Monday night drive in that McLaren. Running a very simple and clean race this evening. As our pack spreads out at the moment, about 15 minutes left to go. Many drivers now going into pit lane. We'll see if we can get our pit notifications to show. Try and go through our standings here. That's Mike Brown hopping the curb just a little bit. Looks like that's going to be some front end damage for him, running P15 at the moment. And that's definitely going to be some front end damage for him. Going down the timing order here, Spencer Braun, P2, 40 seconds behind our leader, Ryan Barkins, but 7 seconds ahead of P3, Tyler Finley. Spencer Braun gunning for that P2 finish tonight. Tyler Finley trying to close that gap. Will we have a battle in the last few minutes of the race? We will see. Behind him, going to Andrew Jackson in the Acura in P4. Also trying to chase down Tyler. Isaiah Backus running P5. That's Jeremy Dunn. Right behind him. After that, we go to about 10 seconds away, Stephen Latrail in that BMW number 77. Kind of sitting on an island of his own at the moment, as is Casey Grant. Grouse Twiddell far behind Casey Grant, might have some pressure from Juan Cruz in that beautiful Nerds Porsche. That rounds out our top 10. So Ryan Barkins continues to set the fastest lap over and over, getting into the 229s. On board Jim Kelly, that's going to be pressure from Tart Embry behind. What can Tart do? We've seen him involved in a couple spins. Is he going to be able to make it past Jim cleanly? Ryan Barkins now running into some traffic for what I believe is going to be the first time this race. Traffic moving out of the way, out of respect. Very good. And this is going to be Jeremy Dunn and Isaiah Backus in the pit lane. A very late pit for both of these drivers. How will this affect their standings? These drivers okay with pitting late, probably not using as much fuel here as they would if the conditions were dry. As Tart continues to be all over the back of Jim. Jim taking the inside line there, Tart going round the outside. As Casey Grant gets by, I believe that is lapped traffic of Matthew Liberto. Casey Grant back up in P6. Looking to maybe hunt down Stephen Latrail, but will he have enough time? Tart losing some time to Jim Kelly now. Mitch Kelsey rounding out the back of the pack this evening. Though maybe faster than Sam Zwissa, it's hard to say. Isaiah Backus running into some lap traffic of his own. Also getting past Matthew there in that Ferrari. Isaiah looks like winning that battle on pit road against Jeremy Dunn. But losing a position to Casey Grant. I believe Casey Grant went with the early pit stop. So that may be why the positions were like that. But our biggest battles on track at the moment. Ooh, and that's Jeremy sliding all around, just trying to get past Matthew there. As Matthew peels away into pit lane. Maybe needing to top up on fuel before the race is done. Let's stay on board with Jim Kelly. Jim Kelly coming into pit lane. That's going to be P11 for Tart Embry. Not sure if he has to pit himself as well. We will take a look. 7 minutes, 30 seconds. And that's not a pit from Jim Kelly. That's going to be a drive-through. That's also why Matthew pitted there as well, getting the black flag. The black flag being waved to a driver, most likely if they've had too many incident points. I believe 25 being the limit, which will cause a drive-through penalty, losing lots of time. Those incident points very easy to rack up here at a track that is not only tricky, but also very, very wet. Sam Zwis is still fighting. I believe that's lap traffic of Jim Kelsey. Sorry, not Jim Kelsey, Mitch Kelsey. Deciding to maybe just let him through in hopes to not cause an incident. And as I say that, that is Mitch Kelsey spinning himself. Oh, and that's going to be contact with Jim Kelly. Not sure if that was maybe a poor rejoin from Mitch. We might have to take a look at the replay on that. As Mitch Nairati fights with Mike Brown. Mitch taking all of that corner right into Mike Brown. Not sure if Mike is gonna like that too much. Very aggressive racing from Mitch. As we will see what these drivers do. 5 minutes left, still plenty of race, plenty of opportunities for these drivers. Now Tyler Finley going to be looking at the back of Spencer Braun, just a couple of seconds away. But Stephen Latrell is right on Tyler's tail. We're going to have some great battles in the last 5 minutes of this race. Sam Zawissa now the Ferraris one by one. Onto the straight though, Mitch Kelsey a lap behind. Still part of the pack. Still putting that pressure on Sam. Sam just trying to catch up to Tart Embry. As we go with Andrew Jackson fighting that McLaren of Casey Grant. Casey holding the position but blipping out just a little bit. Potentially from some network issues. Casey trying to hold down that P5. Andrew putting that pressure on. Looking down at our timing board, Daniel Roth, the only driver to retire this evening. Matthew Liberto and Mitch Kelsey ahead of him, the only drivers to not be on the main lap. All of these drivers running an extremely good and clean race tonight. Very impressed. Very good stuff from all of them. Jeremy Dunn now trying to get a look at Juan Cruz. He has a look, but can he get through? The race may be winding down to the last few minutes, but the track conditions are not letting up. These drivers going for aggressive moves, but can they keep it clean? Because Jeremy side by side there for a moment. He's going to go for that same move again into turn 20. Does he have the run that he needs through the main straight? Looks like Juan is going to pull away just a little bit. Jeremy poking down the inside. Ryan Barkin's running into the lap traffic of Mitch Nairati here. Getting through just fine. The biggest battle on track at the moment. Juan Cruz under tons of pressure. Jeremy is all over the back of that Nerds 444. Jeremy continuing to peek that inside of Juan Cruz, but not able to make anything stick. Ooh, and that's a big send from Jeremy. That's going to be contact with Juan. Luckily, both drivers even it out in the end. As Mitch Kelsey peels into that pit lane, looks like that's going to be a black flag from him. Most likely a drive-through for him as well. And that's contact again, a little bit of trading paints there. Jeremy trying to do everything, pulling out all the moves in the book. And as I say that, Tyler Finley setting the fastest lap of the session, taking that away from Ryan Barkins as he moves up to P2, probably getting a little bit of a draft from Spencer Braun. Let's go back to Jeremy Dunn versus Juan Cruz. Our biggest battle at the moment. Tyler Finley is up into P2 now. 30 seconds left of this race. Jeremy getting past Juan, going into turn 20. Is that a good line from him, or can Juan take the inside down the main straight? What is going to happen? Juan not going to let Jeremy have it this easily. Jeremy closing the door on Juan. Cutting that inside line. As he slowly pulls away from Juan. That is some great racing from Jeremy Spencer Dunn. The race is not over. The session has been white flagged. This is the final lap. as it is now a checkered flag, I believe, from Ryan, though these drivers finishing out the race. And that is our leader, Ryan, our race winner. Casey Grant still fighting with Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson going along the outside. A little bit of netcode issues from Casey. Been seeing that all evening. And that's Andrew spinning out in the background. Jeremy still under pressure from Juan. Can he make this stick? Jeremy pulling away from Juan. Oh, and that is a big incident behind. Looks like that's Isaiah Backus. I think this might just be the end of the race. As our final drivers come through the finish line. Celebrating their positions. That's going to end with Ryan Barkins, our race winner this evening, with a 51.6 second gap to the rest of the drivers. Tyler Finley finishing up in P2 as Backus. They're doing some donuts. Love to see it. Stephen Latrail in P3. Spencer Braun, Casey Grant in P4 and 5. Isaiah Backus finishing P6. Andrew Jackson, P7. Jeremy Spencer Dunn, Juan Cruz, Ross Tweedell rounding out our top 10 finishers this evening, followed by Sam Zawissa, Mitch Nairati, Tart Embry, Mike Brown, Jim Kelly, Matthew Liberto, Mitch Kelsey, and Daniel Roth. Our drivers this evening. As we go to the green room now, an interview with Ryan Barkins, our race winner. Ryan, how are you doing? Congratulations on the win. How does it feel here?
It feels good, dude. It was a fun race. That track's super fun in the wet, so I had a good time hanging with the boys.
That is awesome to hear. I love that attitude. I know a lot of the drivers talking before the race how difficult and tough this would be, but it sounds like you had a great time. You had a great lead out there. How is it driving in the wet? Are you familiar with that kind of driving? Was this new to you? What kind of skills did you have to rely on?
Well, I guess you could say I prepared for this because I did IMSA VIR in the wet with Evan last week, and it was horrible. So I guess that was my practice. But no, I drive in the wet quite a bit. The track's definitely difficult. But the good thing about it was it kind of stayed consistent the whole time. For me, I struggle whenever conditions change. Like if we go from wet to dry, struggle getting on pace. So the fact that it stayed the same and consistent for the whole race definitely helped me out.
Absolutely. Love to hear it. Before you go, is there anyone you want to shout out this evening?
Honestly, the whole grid, man. Not many people show up for these rain events, and it's disappointing to me because I think it helps you learn, it helps you become a better driver, it helps you become a more diverse driver. So everyone who showed up, no matter where you finished, the fact that you started shows it all. So shout out to everybody that showed up tonight.
Amen. Thank you, Ryan, and congratulations on the win. Have a great night, sir.
Thanks, brother.
That was an interview with our race winner, Ryan Barkins. Great attitude from him. I'll echo what he said. Shout out to this grid for showing up to such a tough event. Everyone, for the most part, driving very well, driving very clean. Something that was a concern to many of these drivers. And that will be our broadcast this evening, as I see no one else in the green room wanting an interview. To everyone on the stream at home, thank you for showing up tonight. Again, this was Race 2, Round 2, Season 6 of the Degenerate Race League. I'm your host, Nathaniel Acker. And until next time, keep it fast and keep it clean.
The race is on, wheels burning rubber, we're never wrong. Power in the engines, fire in our veins. In the DRL, we break the chains. No brakes, no fear, no slowing down. The checkered flag is calling, we're the crown. Degenerate Race League, where the tough survive. Living for the moment we're born to drive. With steel and speed, we own the track. No looking forward, 'cause we won't look back. From the streets to the asphalt, we own it all. Rising like thunder, hear the call. Push it to the limit, take the lead. In the DRL, we race with greed. From the streets to the asphalt, we own it all. Rising like thunder, hear the call. Push it to the limit, take the lead. In the DRL.